Every day, more than 500 tons of condensed milk are produced in Brazil. That is so much product that you could cover Christ the Redeemer with a creamy 20-centimeter layer and still have enough left over to fill thousands of cans. But how does milk transform into this dense, sweet, and perfect mixture that spans generations and has become a mandatory ingredient in almost every Brazilian dessert? If you think it's just boiling milk with sugar, you are about to be surprised. The industrial process of condensed milk involves pressure, vacuums, high-precision machinery, and chemistry controlled to the millimeter, all to ensure the uniform texture and flavor that never changes, even after months sealed in a can. Today, you will discover how common milk is transformed into one of the most loved ingredients on the planet: condensed milk. But before we head inside the factory, answer this. Do you think making condensed milk is harder than making a car? If you're curious, subscribe here to Agriculture Planet, because what comes next will change the way you see every spoonful of this treat. The history of condensed milk begins in the 19th century, amidst one of the biggest concerns of the time: how to keep milk fresh for more than a few days. The problem was so serious that Napoleon III, Emperor of France, offered a cash prize to anyone who could find a solution to prevent milk waste during the transport of armies. It was then that the American inventor Gail Borden had a revolutionary idea. In 1856, he created a method that removed most of the water from the milk and added a precise amount of sugar, forming a dense liquid that resisted spoiling over time. The process seemed like magic and quickly spread across the United States and Europe. Decades later, the product crossed the ocean and arrived in Brazil through Nestlé in the early 20th century. The brand launched the famous Leite Moça, milkmaid, which became synonymous with condensed milk itself and turned into a national icon. During World War II, it became even more popular. Soldiers carried it in their backpacks because it was light, sweet, and had a long shelf life. But what few know is that condensed milk helped drive the Brazilian dessert industry. From puddings and brigadeiros to cake fillings, it became a pillar of the country's confectionery, capable of transforming simple ingredients into irresistible classics. Brazil is one of the largest consumers of condensed milk in the world, with millions of cans sold every month. And that is just the beginning. Because the modern manufacturing process is so precise, it would make Napoleon himself drop his jaw. Step 1. From farm to factory. Everything begins before the factory. Condensed milk is born from raw milk, collected on specialized farms where every drop is monitored from the moment of milking. The cow must be healthy, the environment must be sterilized, and the temperature controlled. Any deviation could compromise tons of production. As soon as the milk is collected, it is rapidly cooled to about 4 degrees Celsius, 39 degrees Fahrenheit, and transported in stainless steel tanker trucks. These trucks look simple, but they hide technology. They are equipped with tracking systems and real-time temperature sensors. If the milk gets too warm, the system sends an immediate alert to avoid losing the batch. Upon arriving at the factory, the milk passes through the first quality screening. Samples are collected to check fat levels, acidity, and the presence of bacteria. Only perfect batches move forward. Next comes pasteurization, controlled heating that eliminates microorganisms and ensures product safety. This step is essential for the smooth flavor and characteristic shine that condensed milk has. The pasteurized milk is then stored in giant steel tanks, ready for the transformation to begin. Each of these tanks can store up to 50,000 liters of milk, enough to produce more than 30,000 cans of condensed milk. Every hour, a single factory can process milk coming from more than 10,000 cows. It is the combination of precision and scale that makes the country's most loved sweet possible. Step 2. The magic of evaporation. Now the true industrial magic begins. After pasteurization, the milk heads to enormous vacuum evaporators, where almost 60% of its water is removed. But don't think it is simply boiled. The secret lies in doing this without letting the milk burn or caramelize. And that is where engineering comes in. These evaporators work like giant pots that boil at lower temperatures thanks to the internal vacuum. By reducing the pressure, the boiling point of water drops to about 60 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Fahrenheit, allowing the liquid to evaporate without affecting the flavor or color of the milk. Meanwhile, huge metal blades rotate slowly inside the tank, ensuring homogeneity and preventing fat accumulation on the walls. In a few minutes, the milk transforms into a thick, concentrated cream with a slightly viscous texture. This is the base of condensed milk, still without sugar, but already possessing the density that defines the product. Every hour, a production line can evaporate more than 10,000 liters of raw milk, equivalent to about 25,000 future cans of condensed milk. All of this is monitored by sensors that control pressure, temperature, and time with a precision of tenths of a degree. If a single parameter goes off, the entire batch could be lost. That is why factories keep operators and computers working side by side, like a true symphony between man and machine. Some factories even utilize the steam removed from the milk to generate thermal energy and heat other sectors of the plant, an intelligent cycle of recycling. Step 3. The sugar and homogenization. Now that the milk is concentrated, it is time for the ingredient that transforms everything: sugar. But those who think it is just a sweetener are mistaken. In reality, sugar is a natural preservative. It reduces moisture and prevents the growth of microorganisms, ensuring the condensed milk lasts for months without refrigeration. The dosage is millimeter perfect. In large mixing tanks, sugar is added to the hot milk in exact proportions that vary between 40% and 45% of the total weight. If there is a gram too much or too little, the final texture changes completely. It could become crystallized, or worse, too liquid. While the sugar dissolves, giant agitators keep the movement constant. Sensors measure viscosity and density in real time, and the system automatically adjusts the speed of the blades and the tank temperature. It's almost as if the machine has its own palate, seeking the perfect point that we recognize when opening the can. Next, the mixture passes through a concentration test, measured with digital refractometers. These devices analyze the refraction of light in the liquid to indicate the exact proportion of solids, a detail invisible to the human eye, but vital for quality. A modern line can mix more than 15 tons of milk and sugar per hour. After mixing the sugar, the condensed milk is still not ready. It needs to pass through one of the most important moments of the entire process: homogenization. This step ensures that fat, sugar, and proteins remain perfectly distributed, preventing the product from separating over time. The still hot condensed milk is pumped into equipment called a high-pressure homogenizer. There, the liquid is forced through tiny valves under pressures that can exceed 200 bar, more than a diver would feel at 2,000 meters deep. This impact breaks the fat particles into microscopic pieces, creating a uniform, shiny, and stable texture. Step 4. Cooling and canning. Next, the product is cooled rapidly, passing through plate heat exchangers. This metal structure forces the condensed milk through cold channels that remove heat in seconds without altering the flavor. The result is a dense, creamy mixture with that shine that reflects light, the same shine you see when opening a brand new can. Interestingly, the cooling temperature also influences the color. If the process is too slow, the sugar begins to react, darkening the product and altering the aroma. Thanks to this precision, a factory can produce millions of identical cans with no perceptible variation in flavor, texture, or color, something even artisanal kitchens cannot replicate. Now that the condensed milk is ready, it needs to be packaged safely and hygienically. This is where the factory gains a mesmerizing rhythm. Every second, dozens of cans pass along metal conveyor belts, moving like steel snakes, a perfect choreography between machines and operators. The condensed milk arrives at the fillers through heated and pressurized tubes, keeping the product fluid until the exact moment of filling. The machines pour the precise amount, generally 395 grams per can, with a margin of error of less than 1%. Optical sensors verify the level of each container and automatically reject any can that is not up to standard. The below immediately after, automatic sealers spring into action, closing the cans with metal lids in fractions of a second. The seal is so tight that it prevents even air from entering. But one crucial step remains: thermal sterilization. The sealed cans are placed in large autoclaves, where they are heated to about 120 degrees Celsius, 248 degrees Fahrenheit, for 20 to 30 minutes. This treatment eliminates any residual bacteria and creates the famous vacuum effect that keeps the condensed milk stable for months. During cooling, sensors verify the integrity of each batch, ensuring no lid has micro-leaks. A modern line can fill and sterilize more than 600 cans per minute, enough to stock an entire supermarket in less than half an hour. Quality control and logistics. After canning, the condensed milk still needs to prove it is worthy of the name. This is where one of the most rigorous parts of the industry comes in: quality control. Each batch undergoes physical, chemical, and sensory tests. In internal laboratories, technicians analyze color, density, pH, and sugar content, comparing the results with reference standards. A simple deviation in color, almost imperceptible to the naked eye, is enough for the entire batch to be held for investigation. Furthermore, there are automated inspections. High-resolution cameras scan the line, detecting even microscopic air bubbles or small deformations in the cans. Acoustic sensors capture the sound of the lid being pressed. If the click doesn't have the right frequency, the machine separates that unit in milliseconds. But the control doesn't end there. Samples are opened and evaluated by industrial tasting panels. Yes, there is a team specialized in tasting condensed milk every day, evaluating texture, color, and flavor. In some factories, less than 0.5% of batches are rejected, a precision rate comparable to the pharmaceutical industry. After passing quality control, the condensed milk is ready to take on the world. Robotic arms stack hundreds of boxes per minute, creating perfect walls of products ready for transport. From there, autonomous forklifts take the pallets to climate-controlled trucks. The destination could be a supermarket in rural Brazil or a bakery in Japan. Yes, Brazilian condensed milk is exported to dozens of countries. Conclusion: a national passion. The industry supports thousands of direct and indirect jobs, from the field to logistics. Giant factories consume millions of liters of milk per week, stimulating local livestock farming. And consumption keeps growing. In Brazil alone, more than 1.5 billion cans are sold per year, equivalent to 7 cans per inhabitant. It is so much condensed milk that it could fill 400 Olympic swimming pools. The most modern factories operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From the farm to the dessert bowl, condensed milk is a true emblem of Brazilian food engineering. It was born of a military necessity and became one of the most loved ingredients on the planet. But there is a curiosity that few people know. Brazil is the only country in the world where condensed milk is used in practically all traditional desserts. In many places, it is just a complement. Here, it is the absolute protagonist. From brigadeiros to icebox cakes, passing through puddings, mousses, and pavés, condensed milk has become a symbol of comfort and homemade sweetness. It represents the fusion between engineering and affection. There are factories that produce special versions of condensed milk for chefs and confectionaries, with different levels of viscosity and sweetness, adjusted with scientific precision. In other words, even the country's most popular sweet has its own personalized engineering. And if you made it this far, congratulations! Now you know how raw, simple, white milk transforms into one of the greatest marvels of the modern food industry. Subscribe to Agriculture Planet to continue discovering the secrets and curiosities of the factories that move the world. And tell us in the comments, what is your favorite dessert made with condensed milk?